Hey there, Squirrel Army! It's time for another starter precon upgrade guide. This is for Draconic Destruction deck with our commander Ataka World Render. He's a pretty decent dragon, giving all of our dragons double strike. There's another Gruul legend. I think he's a dragon kin that basically does the same thing, doubles dragon's power. That's a really cool and powerful command also. But yeah, certainly looks like there's a lot to work with here. But I will take away this list and come back in a few minutes and show you what I came up with a upgraded version for this deck. If you're enjoying the content here, you can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing. Alrighty guys, we are back to this list for now. Just checking that we have 100, and we do, which is good. We have quite the budget here. Probably one of the highest budgets that we've had so far. I do try to keep these as budget as what I can on these, because people who have good budgets are going to find better cards for a lot of the time, because they know what they're doing and they know how to build decks pretty well. And people who don't sort of know how to build decks, well, this is a decent base at least, and then you can sort of upgrade some things. Anyway, let's get going along with it. And I will say again that the deck list will be in the comments or in the description somewhere pinned down there. So if you want to see what's in the list without me having to listen to me waffle on and whatnot here, you can just go down there and check out the deck list. It'll be pinned in the comments. So if you are here to check out the more detailed version of what I put in and whatnot and what's going on here in the list, I will go through it. But first, before we get going too far, I will say this. Again, I'll have to say this in every single one of these now, but whatever. I won't talk about the lands for too long, because they're all going to come down to the same reason why I cut them, which is they're all bad tapped lands. There's no real point in running any of these. You can just get away with running basics or running some of the better other lands. There are some, I think Path of Ancestry was the only one that I did keep, and that was because it scries, so that's okay. So that was one exception I made, because it keeps scrying for us. Otherwise, we're not going to spend time talking about them. So let's go through the cuts that I made. The Kite, it only damages one target thing or player. If we play a mountain, it does 2 damage. For 6 mana, if we're like getting this small of a payoff, which we have to basically untap for and have lands for, yeah, it's just not going to happen here. You know, it's way too late in the game. We're not a landfall deck. We probably don't have enough lands for it really to get there. And even if we have enough mountains, perhaps, for it to sometimes do something a little bit more powerful, like, it's still only 2 damage. So that's just not where we want to be. We want to be having much more powerful things than that. Arcane Signet, not a bad card at all, but we're in green. We have way better options than this. We don't really need Mana Rocks basically at all. So I just yeeted it out there because, well, we're in green, we don't need it. Blossoming Defense can protect something and buff it, but, like, honestly, I don't think we need that. I think if you have an issue with people killing your stuff, you need to wear more Swiftfoot boots and lightning greaves, things like that, to protect the couple key things that you really need to keep. Yes, sure, they'll kill it in response to equipping or whatever, but they can just kill it again in response to you sort of casting this or whatever. So there's or they can just negate it or whatever. So yeah, I never am impressed with cards like this. There was this new one that I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty darn good, the +1 counters one, but even that, I just, I don't think these make enough impact a lot of the time. You might as well just run a counter spell of some sort. Anyway, Defiance, it only targets things, and it's a sorcery. It can target non-flyers, flyers, or players. So those are some good targets, but beyond that, it's not that good. If we want to target things, we don't really care. I think you want to not target things. You want to target the non-flyers, or if you can at least. So that's where I'm at with that. Command Sphere, we don't need Mana Rocks at all, so just yeet it out. Crucible of Fire, most of our dragons are really big anyway, for the most part. We don't really need to buff them that much, so we just don't need this card. Yes, you could just leave it in. It's a fine card, it's not a bad card. But honestly, we have flying dragons. We just need to get those dragons out quicker. And start punching people in the face quicker. We don't really need to buff them. So I just don't see the point in it. Demanding Dragon, it's a one-off effect where someone chooses to sacrifice something or they take 5 damage. That's just not amazing, especially for 5 mana. We could do a whole lot more with 5 mana, so I just don't think it's worth our time. The Mage basically makes us not Chaos Warp. What's it called? Wheel of Fortune our hand and everyone else. But it's 7 mana, and that's the problem. And again, we don't really have much control over what we'd like to draw cards, certainly, but having to discard cards means sometimes we'll have to discard some of our good cards. Yeah, sure, we try to avoid that, and the idea here, I guess, is that we disrupt our opponents, but it's turn 7 or 8 or maybe 9 before we probably get this thing out. People are set up before this guy's hitting people with him, so we're not disrupting anyone with this. So it doesn't really help us enough, and it doesn't disrupt our opponents enough. So that's where I'm at with it. The Berserker, it has to get in combat to do its boasting ability. Its boasting ability isn't too bad, but it's only a 2/2. It does have First Strike, that's okay, but yeah, it's just going to die, so you're probably only going to get that one shot out of making dragons off of it. So I just don't love that, and you've sort of got to have a whole bunch of dragons anyway to sort of get a reduction in its ability to chain it off multiple times. So yeah, I think it really doesn't do a whole lot of enough to warrant a space, especially since you've got to waste it in combat and once only. Flame Burst isn't too bad, but only sort of helps itself and doesn't really do anything extra. So we want cards that do something extra, not just it helps itself but doesn't do anything else. So I just took it out. The Regent, just again, 7 mana and it fights something, and then if we, at the end step, we put 2 counters on something that fought something. Okay, sure, but we could win the game at this level of mana, so we just don't need this. Plus, it's only a 4/5, so it's not that powerful, really. So we're not really fighting anything of any significance, realistically, so it's just not that amazing, and we don't have that many other fight effects in this deck. If you're a fight deck, maybe you really, really want it, but even then, I don't know. But that's not what we're here to discuss, I get, but whatever. The Siege is actually pretty good on Khans, getting that 4 mana a turn, basically. So that's not too bad, but we've got so many other ramps that I don't think we really need it. Plus, some of our other ramps sort of do other things for us, so I just thought, well, yeah, that's alright. I mean, we could choose dragons and have those creatures essentially fight each other, but I don't think that that's that good. We don't really need to do that. We've got big flyers. As long as someone else doesn't have big flyers, we're pretty good. So yeah, we don't really need this. The Whelp, just too small, too low impact. especially for the amount of mana that you're sinking into this thing. So just took it out. Harmonize. We can just do better than this. We can just get more consistent card draw than this. Yes, it happens right now, which is good, but I don't like these one-off effects. So just no, took it out. Hunter's Insight, same sort of thing, just a one-off effect. So I don't really think that there's much in that. Plus, we don't really need so many other things like Trample or whatnot. Same with Prowess. We don't really need the buff. We don't really need Trample. We don't really need to draw cards this way. We can just draw cards other ways. And again, I just don't like these one-off effects. The Shaman, I don't even know what the heck this guy's doing in here. Like, what the heck is he even doing in here? He's here to shuffle someone's graveyard into their library, so he's grave hate? I mean, sure, I don't know. We could put some grave hate in here and not put this guy in here if he's in here to help us protect our graveyard or whatever. Or, you know, stop us from milling out or something. I don't know. Like, he just has no point in this deck. That we could put in 100 different cards that did something that this guy does, so or did it better. So I just don't see the point in it. Just yeet it out. Go away. Primal Might just buffs one thing, and then it fights something. So we don't really care. Again, just not enough. Evoke the Trolls, deals some damage to any target. If a creature is dealt damage this way, it gets +5/+0. What? What the heck is going on here? So we're gonna deal damage to one of our dragons to buff it up. Like, why? Or are we gonna just deal damage to somebody's thing, and if it's not dead, we're gonna buff their thing? Like, maybe that'll deal some damage to an opponent, like, but not enough for this level of a spell. We can just do way better. The Hellkite, again, as long as we can control this, because it'll be in our graveyard, but for 6 mana, again, we don't want to just discard our hand willy-nilly. Like, so I just didn't think it was really doing that much for us. So we don't have enough graveyard stuff. Like, maybe that's what the Shaman's here for, because we've got all this stuff that makes us discard our hand and whatnot, but I just don't see the point in running them both. Like if you are running them both, that's all right, but like, I don't see the point. Honestly, just don't see the point. Might as well not. The Sarkhan doesn't really do a whole lot. He makes himself a dragon for a turn, and then he dies. Like, so, like, that's the way a lot of Planeswalkers go. We do have some ways to maybe protect him, but the ability of his ult isn't that amazing. His neg 3 really doesn't do hardly anything. So I just don't see the point in this guy. Just no point. Revelation, I don't like these one-off card draws. The gaining life, yeah, that's okay, but that's a small potatoes gain for this spell. The Hellkite, it's nice to be able to destroy each non-land permanent with mana value X or less or whatever, but I don't know, I think we'll hit too much of our own stuff, some of our stuff that's helping us get our dragons out. So I don't think we want to do this unless it's dire situations. So in that situation, we'd rather just have something that kills the one or two or whatever things that are really bothering us than just the thing that's going to wipe our own stuff out. I don't know. So just took it out. Sweltering Suns, just 3 damage, isn't going to cut it, plus cycling, especially for 3. The Talisman, we're in green, we don't need these mana rocks. So yeah, took it out. Fury doubles the power of a creature. What's this doing in here? Like, again, are we going to cast this on an opponent's thing just to get someone else to do a little bit more damage, or are we going to buff one of our own things just to do a little bit more damage? I don't see that this is going to do us anything. Like, literally, it's not going to do anything. The Blade Wing has kicker. When it's been kicked, we make another token that's a copy of it, essentially. I don't think that that's enough because it's a one-off. Like, if we could bounce it to our hand or something, then we could cast it again and get another one and another one. But, we could just do so much more and get so much better things. I didn't actually say that I changed the mana base very much, but I should have done already. Besides just changing how many forests we had, just adding a couple of forests, I only added, was it the Cavern or was it the Crucible? I can't remember which one of these I actually added. It was one of these two that I actually added. So yeah, I just added that. That was the only add in the lands. I should have said that before. Instance, I think we only had the one, which was Cloth's Will, which is pretty darn good. Deals X damage to each creature without flying. And if we have our commander, if we have our commander, it does both, but whatever. We can destroy up to X target artifacts or enchantments. That's really good. So, like, even if we could get one of these modes, we can just destroy any number of X up to X target artifacts or enchantments, or enchantments, or just deal so much damage to X of X without flying. So that's really good. Like, those are really good things for us to do. As far as sorceries, I think we had a few. 3 visits, rampant growth, nature's law, fast seek, and that was it. Yeah, cultivate was already in the deck. I was about to say cultivate, but was already in the deck. Just all really good 2-mana ramp. Had a few enchantments that I actually added to the deck. Had a few artifacts too, but we'll get to that in just a sec. Bahamut, dragon spells cost 2 less, or the first one does, so that one's alright. The Cultist, if we've dealt 5 or more damage to a player this turn, we make a 4/4 dragon. That's really good. What else? Guardian Project just draws cards when we play creatures. Molten Echoes just essentially clones our creatures, gives them haste, which is also essentially really good. Rhythm of the Wild, another way to give our stuff haste, also means our stuff can't be countered. So that's really useful. The Herald's Horn, we choose dragons. Dragons cost 1 less. Beginning of upkeep, look at the top card. If it's a dragon, put it out of our hand. So that's really useful. Bestiary, at the beginning of upkeep, we scry 1, and whenever we cast a creature spell, we can pay green to draw a card. Pretty good. Orb of Dragonkind, Mana Rock, adds 2 mana in any combination of colours. Spend it to only cast a dragon or activate dragon abilities. And then we can pay red to sack it, look at the top 7 cards, put a dragon from among them into our hand, the rest on the bottom of our library in any order. So it's not just a mana rock, but it also draws us card late game. So that's pretty good. And Vanquish's Banner. Just choose dragons. Dragons get buffed. When we cast a dragon, we draw a card. So those are all really, really good things. Does a whole lot of stuff. Doesn't just do one thing. Now for creatures, Augur of Autumn can play lands from the top of our library. We can cast creatures from the top of our library as long as we have Coven, which is pretty easy to get. We have all sorts of different powers in this deck, so it's not hard to get, no matter what. Beast Whisperer just draws us cards when we play creatures. The Champion, whenever a source we control deals 5 or more damage to a player, we draw a card. A lot of our stuff has 5 power, or we can buff it up to 5 power, so that's alright. We can get there pretty easily, at least. The Astral Hunter, when it enters, or another dragon enters the battlefield under our control, we make a treasure. So just making us free treasures for all our dragons. That's pretty nice. Just helping us get more mana. Goblin Chaomancer, all our red and green spells cost 1 less to cast, so that will help us ramp into our dragons. Cloth, when he attacks, he also has haste, so that's real good because we don't want him to just be sitting around. But we add X mana in any combination of colors where X is total power of attacking creatures. Spend this unneeded mana to cast spells, and until end of turn it doesn't phase out as steps and phases change. So useful. Laughless just makes free dragons whenever we play a dragon, and we can buff all of our dragons by +1/+0. So mass fire breathing, that's really good. Which is way better than just one-off. Patron of the Arts, just a little dragon that makes a treasure. It is a one-off effect, but I really wanted one more dragon in here. I think this was one of the last cards that I actually added because I was like one off of 99, so it's probably one of the worst ones that I actually added, but it's alright. It's not that bad. It's a dragon. It's on theme. Scourge of Throne has dethrone, and whenever we attack the player with the most life, we can get an extra combat, so that's really useful. We are an aggro deck. A lot of these ones that came out are aggro decks. They're pretty basic, and I like that, except for maybe the zombie deck, but whatever, that's fine too. It still was mostly aggro. Soul of the Harvest, non-token creature ETBs under our control. We draw a card, so getting more of that card draw for our stuff. Terror of the Peaks is Warstorm Surge on a stick. Warstorm Surge, I think, isn't that amazing, but this is alright because there are other synergies that go along with it. Plus, it's a dragon, so it's really on theme, so that's fine. The Butcher, when it attacks, double the power of each dragon we control, so a lot like our commander set, whatnot. It basically giving our stuff double strike, but it doesn't. Doubles their power, which is basically the same thing, but not. So that stacks up, which really useful. And that's a way better buff than like +3. And it's also a dragon, so it's on theme. Udvara Hellkite, he's pretty expensive in terms of mana and in terms of dollars, but whatever. Whenever a dragon we control attacks, we make a 6/6 dragon for each token with flying. So that's pretty darn good. So yeah. Vengeful Ancestor, when ETBs or attacks, we goad somebody's thing, so that can really help us out, and point damage somewhere else other than towards us, so it could be really helpful. And Wrathful Red Dragon, if a dragon we control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. That can help with some of our damage-based wraths and whatnot, but it really helps when people are trying to block our stuff or trying to attack into our stuff. It just means that we can just shoot damage into different places and into different directions and whatnot, so it's really useful. And that is it for this list. So yeah, again, you guys can always, as you do, tell me what you guys think. Hope you did like it. And hope you will join me again in another one.